Ladies and gentlemen, the problem isn't that people don't want success. Most people do. They dream about it, talk about it, even write it down sometimes. But wanting isn't enough. The real difference maker is hunger. Hunger is that deep, burning desire that says, I can't stay where I am, I have to move forward. See, when you're hungry, you wake up early. You stay up late. You push through the tiredness, the boredom, the excuses. Hunger doesn't let you settle. It keeps whispering, and sometimes shouting, there's more for you. But here's the tricky part: comfort is a thief. The moment life feels good enough, the hunger starts to fade. And when hunger fades, effort drops. When effort drops, progress slows. Before you know it, you're coasting, and coasting always leads downhill. So how do you stay hungry? You set goals that scare you a little and excite you a lot. Goals that force you to grow, stretch, and become more than you are right now. Then you protect that hunger with discipline. Discipline is the guardrail that keeps your ambition from sliding into procrastination. It's doing the thing you said you'd do, especially on the days you don't feel like it. And don't forget to feed your hunger with learning. Read, listen, ask questions, stay curious. The more you know, the hungrier you get, because you start to see just how much more is possible. Finally, be careful who you share your table with. Hunger is contagious, so is laziness. Spend your time with people who are chasing their own big dreams. Their energy will keep your fire alive. In the end, success isn't for the wishful. It's for the hungry. So stay hungry, my friend. Not just today. Not just until the next promotion or milestone. Stay hungry for life. Because the day you lose your hunger is the day you stop growing. Hunger is the fuel that drives achievement. It's that deep, unshakable feeling inside that tells you, I can't settle for where I am. There's more out there for me. It's not just wanting something, it's needing it like oxygen. You see, many people have desires. They'd like to be wealthier, healthier, happier. They'd like to have better relationships, more time, freedom, and bigger opportunities. But liking the idea of something and having a burning hunger for it are two completely different things. Hunger is what gets you moving when motivation fades. Because motivation is like a spark. It can light you up for a moment, but hunger is the fire that keeps burning day after day. When you're truly hungry for success, you don't wait for perfect conditions. You don't wait for someone to hand you a plan. You start now right where you are, with whatever you've got. Hunger turns, I can't, into, I must. Think about it. When someone is truly hungry, physically hungry, they don't sit around complaining about the weather or how unfair life is. They go out and find food. They hunt. They gather. They do whatever it takes. That's the kind of hunger you need for your dreams. You've got to want it so badly that you're willing to step out of comfort, face discomfort, and take risks. Hunger makes you resourceful. It makes you persistent. It pushes you past the point where most people stop. The truth is, opportunity will walk right past a person who isn't hungry. It doesn't matter if you got talent, education, or connections. If the hunger isn't there, you won't act, you won't push, you won't persist. And without those things, even the best chance in the world will slip right through your fingers. On the other hand, a hungry person with fewer resources will outwork and outlast someone with every advantage but no drive. Hunger sharpens your senses. It makes you notice possibilities others overlook. It helps you spot doors opening and gives you the courage to walk through them. And here's the thing: hunger isn't comfortable. It's not supposed to be. If you're always comfortable, you're probably not growing. Hunger has a way of making you a little restless. That restlessness is the tension between where you are and where you could be. And that tension is good. It's the birthplace of change. But hunger doesn't just appear out of thin air. You've got to feed it. You feed it with vision, a clear picture of where you want to be. You feed it with stories of others who've done it, so you can see what's possible. You feed it with small wins, because nothing keeps hunger alive like progress. The danger, of course, is that once you get a taste of success, the hunger can fade. You hit a goal, life gets easier, and you start to relax. and there's nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of your labor. But if you want to keep growing, you can't let that satisfaction turn into complacency. The moment you stop feeding your hunger, it starts to starve. That's when you lose momentum, and before you know it, years have passed, and you're wondering what happened to all that drive you used to have. So, if you want to achieve something remarkable, don't just wish for it. Don't just hope it happens someday. Make yourself hungry for it. Find the reasons that make it urgent. Tie it to your future, your family, your values, your identity. Make it so personal, so important that quitting isn't even an option. Because hunger is the difference between people who talk about success and people who achieve it. And if you keep that hunger alive, nothing can stop you from moving toward the life you want. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It's a pleasant trap, a quiet thief. It doesn't barge in and take your dreams away in one dramatic moment. No, it works slowly, silently, almost invisibly. It lulls you into believing that good enough is good enough. The paycheck is steady, the bills are paid, you've got a little time to relax, maybe a few small luxuries. Life is fine, and that's the danger. Fine is the place where dreams go to sleep. When you're comfortable, you stop stretching. You stop experimenting. You stop doing the things that once felt urgent. Comfort makes you forget the hunger that got you moving in the first place. It's like sitting in a warm bath. It feels great for a while, but stay there too long and you'll get wrinkled, sluggish, and unwilling to get out. The warmth becomes a cage. Growth requires friction. It requires stepping into situations that make you just a little uneasy. If you want stronger muscles, you've got to lift heavier weights than you're used to. If you want sharper skills, you've got to take on challenges you're not yet sure you can handle. Comfort tells you, don't push too hard, don't risk too much. Growth says, if it's not stretching you, it's not changing you. The truth is, most people don't fail because they aim too high and miss. They fail because they aim too low and hit. Comfort makes that low target feel safe. You start telling yourself stories, I've already achieved enough, or it's too late to start something new, or I'll make a change when things settle down. But deep down, you know that settling down usually means slowing down, and slowing down often means stopping altogether. Now, comfort isn't the same as contentment. You can be content and still be growing. Contentment is gratitude, appreciating what you have while you work for more. Comfort, on the other hand, is surrender. It's telling yourself, this is all there is and all there will ever be. That's a dangerous lie because it convinces you to stop trying. If you've ever met someone who's been in the same job, doing the same thing with the same results for years, not because they love it, but because it's easy, you've seen what comfort can do. It dulls ambition. It keeps you in a loop, repeating yesterday's choices over and over until the days blur into years. Breaking free from comfort requires intention. You have to make a decision to put yourself in situations where you don't have all the answers. You have to set goals that make you a little nervous. You have to meet new people, learn new skills, and say yes to opportunities that scare you just enough to make you wonder, can I really do this? That's the sign you're in the growth zone. And here's the thing. Once you step into discomfort, it won't feel natural at first. Your mind will try to drag you back to the familiar. That's when you remind yourself that growth never happens inside your comfort zone. Every skill you have, every achievement you've earned, every bit of confidence you've built, all of it came from moments when you stepped into the unknown. So guard yourself against the slow drift into comfort. Keep a little edge in your life. Let your goals challenge you. Let your routines evolve. Let your ambitions pull you into places where you're learning, stretching, becoming more. Comfort may feel safe, but in the long run, it's the riskiest place you can be. Because while you're sitting still, the world is moving on. And you risk being left behind, wondering where your potential went. Feed your hunger with goals. Hunger by itself is powerful, but like a fire without wood, it will eventually burn out if it's not fueled. That's what goals are. The logs you throw on the fire. They give your hunger something to consume, something to work on, something to chase. Without clear goals, hunger turns into restless energy that often fizzles into frustration. But with goals, that energy has direction, purpose, and momentum. A goal is more than a wish. Wishing says, I hope something good happens. A goal says, this is what I'm going after, and here's how I'm going to get it. The difference is that a wish depends on luck, while a goal depends on you. And the best goals aren't vague or fuzzy. They're specific, measurable, and time-bound. I want to get in shape is a nice thought, but I will lose 15 pounds in 90 days by working out 4 times a week and cutting sugar is a real target. Goals turn ideas into action steps. When you feed your hunger with goals, you give yourself milestones to reach for. Those milestones become proof that you're making progress, which is one of the best ways to keep your hunger alive. The more progress you see, the more excited you become, and the more your hunger grows. It becomes a cycle. Goals create progress. Progress fuels hunger. Hunger drives action, and action leads to more progress. Without goals, hunger can actually turn against you. You feel like you're working hard but going nowhere. You keep moving but without a map. That's exhausting. People burn out not just because they're doing too much, but because they're doing a lot without any clear direction. A clear goal is like a compass. It tells you which way to go when you're in the middle of the forest. Your goals should do 2 things: inspire you and stretch you. If your goal doesn't excite you, you won't have the energy to keep pursuing it when things get tough. And if it doesn't stretch you, it won't force you to grow, which means you'll quickly lose interest. The sweet spot is a goal that makes you think, I can do this, but it's going to take everything I've got. That's the kind of goal that keeps hunger alive. Goals also help you filter your decisions. When you know exactly where you're going, it's easier to say yes to the things that move you forward and no to the distractions that don't. Every time you face a choice, you can ask, does this get me closer to my goal or further away? That simple question can save you years of wasted effort. And remember, your goals can evolve. As you achieve one, set another. As you grow, your vision will expand. That's how you keep the hunger alive for decades. You never run out of things to aim for. The person who says, I've made it, I'm done, is the person whose hunger will soon fade. But the person who keeps setting bigger, bolder goals will stay sharp, motivated, and alive with purpose. Finally, write your goals down. Don't just keep them in your head. Put them on paper, on your wall, in your phone. Somewhere you'll see them often. A written goal has weight. It's a promise to yourself. Every time you read it, it reminds you why you started, why you're pushing, and why you can't quit. In the end, hunger is the spark, but goals are the fuel. Without them, the fire will fade. With them, your hunger can grow so strong it becomes unstoppable. And an unstoppable hunger is the kind of force that builds success, one milestone at a time. Hunger demands discipline. Desire is the easy part. It's exciting to talk about big dreams, to picture the life you want, to imagine the success you could have. But the bridge between hunger and achievement is discipline. Without it, hunger becomes nothing more than wishful thinking. Discipline is what turns, I want it, into, I'm working for it every single day, no matter how I feel. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not the rush you get from a motivational speech or the spark of inspiration from a good book. It's the quiet, steady decision to do the right thing at the right time, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or downright boring. Hunger may get you started, but discipline keeps you going long after the excitement fades. Most people fail not because they lack desire, but because they lack the daily habits to back that desire up. They wanted the reward without the repetition. They wanted the trophy without the training. Discipline is the training. It's the early mornings when you'd rather sleep in, the extra reps when you're already tired, the careful budgeting when it would be easier to spend. It's making the choice to keep your commitments, especially the ones you made to yourself. Discipline is also about consistency, not perfection. You don't have to do everything perfectly to succeed, but you do have to keep showing up. Skipping a day won't kill your dream, but skipping often enough will. The person who does a little every day, even imperfectly, will always outperform the person who works in unpredictable bursts of energy. Success isn't built in one big leap. It's built in thousands of small, disciplined steps. The hard part is that discipline often feels unrewarding in the moment. You don't get instant results. You don't always see the payoff right away. That's why many people quit too soon. They mistake the lack of immediate progress for failure. But discipline is like planting seeds. You may not see growth right away, but under the surface, roots are forming. Eventually, those roots will produce visible results. And that's when people call you lucky. Even though it was discipline, not luck, that made it happen. Discipline also protects your hunger. Without it, hunger burns hot for a while, then burns out. But discipline feeds that fire in a controlled, sustainable way. It keeps your hunger focused on productive action instead of letting it scatter into distractions. You can be as passionate as you want, but without discipline. Passion alone is like a sports car with no fuel. Impressive to look at, but going nowhere. One of the keys to building discipline is starting small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Pick one habit that supports your goal and commit to it daily. Over time, add another. Discipline builds like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And as it gets stronger, you'll notice things that once felt hard become easier, and things that once seemed impossible start to feel within reach. The truth is, success demands a price, and discipline is the currency. Every day, you either pay that price or you postpone your progress. The people who achieve their dreams aren't necessarily more talented, smarter, or luckier. They're just more willing to do what needs to be done over and over, without making excuses. Hunger may give you the reason to start, but discipline gives you the ability to finish. And in the end, it's not the person who starts with the biggest dream who wins. It's the person who refuses to quit day after disciplined day until the dream becomes reality. Hunger thrives on learning. No matter how driven you are, if you stop growing in knowledge and skill, your hunger will eventually run out of fuel. You can only chase a dream with intensity for so long before you start bumping into limitations. Limitations of ability, understanding, or perspective. Learning is how you break through those limits. It's how you turn raw ambition into refined ability. Think about it, hunger is the desire to climb higher, but learning is the ladder. Without learning, you end up stuck at the same level, working harder, but not getting much further. And here's the trap. Some people mistake effort for progress. They work long hours, repeat the same actions over and over, and wonder why they're not getting ahead. The problem isn't that they aren't trying hard enough. It's that they aren't learning enough to make their effort more effective. Learning does more than sharpen your skills. It keeps your mind alive. It expands your vision of what's possible. The more you know, the more opportunities you can recognize. It's like upgrading your vision from blurry to clear. Suddenly you can see possibilities that were invisible before. And once you see more, you naturally want more. That's why learning feeds hunger. It shows you that there's always another level to reach. But here's the catch: real learning is not just about collecting information. It's about applying what you know. You can read all the books, attend all the seminars, and listen to all the podcasts. But if you never put what you learn into action, it's like storing food in a pantry but never eating it. Knowledge without application doesn't nourish your growth. The best learners approach life with humility. They understand that no matter how much they know, there's always something new to discover. They ask questions. They seek feedback. They study people who are further along the path they want to walk. They don't let pride get in the way of progress. The moment you start thinking you know it all, your hunger begins to die. Because why chase more if you believe you've already arrived? Learning also demands variety. If you only learn in one area, you risk becoming skilled but narrow-minded. A musician who studies business becomes better at selling their music. A business owner who studies psychology becomes better at leading people. A leader who studies history gains perspective on decision-making. Pollinating your learning keeps your hunger fresh and your thinking sharp. And in today's world, there's no excuse not to learn. Knowledge is everywhere. In books, videos, online courses, podcasts, mentors, and even in your everyday experiences. The question is not whether resources exist. The question is whether you'll make the time to use them. You have to treat learning as a non-negotiable part of your routine, not an optional extra when you have time. The people who maintain their hunger for decades are almost always the people who keep learning. They reinvent themselves, adapt to change, and stay relevant in a world that never stops evolving. They're not afraid to start over in a new area if it means opening a new door of opportunity. Hunger without learning eventually turns into frustration, but hunger with learning turns into mastery. The kind of mastery that opens doors, commands respect, and creates opportunities others can't even see. If you want your hunger to stay alive and even grow over time, you have to keep feeding it new ideas, new challenges, and new skills. Because the more you grow, the more you'll realize there's still so much more to learn. And that's what keeps the fire burning. Hunger is contagious. Spend enough time around people who are driven, focused, and determined, and you'll feel your own hunger rise. Spend enough time around people who are lazy, negative, and complacent, and you'll feel your hunger shrink. The truth is, human beings are deeply influenced by the environments they live in and the company they keep. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you're surrounded by voices that tell you to, take it easy. Slow down. It won't be long before you start lowering your own standards. Think about it. When you're around people who are chasing big dreams, you start to believe bigger things are possible for you too. Their energy rubs off. Their stories inspire you. Their work ethic makes you look at your own efforts and think, I can do more. On the other hand, when you're around people who constantly complain, avoid challenges, or settle for less, you begin to absorb their attitudes without even realizing it. Slowly, your hunger starts to fade, not because you stop caring, but because you started adjusting to the low expectations around you. That's why it's so important to guard your circle. If your goal is to stay hungry for success, you need to surround yourself with people who are hungry too. People who challenge you, encourage you, and hold you accountable. This doesn't mean you cut off everyone in your life who's not chasing goals as big as yours, but it does mean you limit how much influence those people have over your mindset. The people closest to you will either fan your flame or pour water on it. Choose the ones who fan it. Spend time with those who talk about ideas, not just gossip. Seek out mentors who are ahead of you on the path you want to walk. Learn from peers who are striving for excellence in their own fields. Collaborate with people who inspire you to raise your game. Hunger grows faster in an environment of healthy competition. When you see someone in your circle making big moves, it's not about feeling jealous. It's about letting their progress push you to keep up. That's one of the benefits of surrounding yourself with driven people. Their wins become proof that more is possible, and their pace becomes a reminder to keep moving. Sometimes, just being in the right room changes everything. You might walk into a group of people who are so committed, so focused, that you immediately realize you've been operating below your potential. You feel the gap between where you are and where you could be, and that gap creates hunger. That's why successful people are intentional about the rooms they enter and the networks they build. Of course, it's not just about taking energy from others. You also have to give it back. Your own hunger can inspire the people around you too. When you push yourself, when you stay disciplined, when you keep learning and growing, you become the proof someone else needs to believe they can do more. Your drive can ignite theirs, creating a cycle where everyone gets stronger. But here's the warning, just as hunger is contagious, so is complacency. If you spend too much time with people who have no ambition, you will start to adapt to their pace. And once you adapt, your fire will slowly cool until you don't even realize it's gone. That's why you must choose your circle with the same care you'd choose the fuel for a fire, because the wrong fuel can smother it. In the end, no one succeeds entirely alone. The people you walk with determine how far and how fast you go. If you want to keep your hunger alive, surround yourself with those who are just as hungry or hungrier. Let their energy push you forward, and let your energy push them until you're all chasing something so big that settling is never an option.